Tragedy in the skies, the crash of Air India Flight 171.
It was the 12th of June, 2025. A sleek Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner aircraft, bearing tail number VT-ANB, stood ready on the tarmac. Its destination, London Gatwick, a long journey from its origin. On the afternoon of June 12, 2025, Air India Flight 171, a scheduled international passenger flight, took off from Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport in Ahmedabad at 13:38 Indian Standard Time. Within 32 seconds of takeoff, tragedy struck. The aircraft had climbed to roughly 650 feet at 180 knots before both engines simultaneously failed, resulting in a complete loss of thrust. Despite the pilot's quick efforts to recover the engines and issue a mayday call, the plane was unable to maintain altitude. At about 13:39 Indian Standard Time, the aircraft crashed into the BJ Medical College hostel complex after clipping some trees, lampposts, and an incinerator chimney. The crash killed 241 people on board, along with 19 individuals on the ground, and injured dozens more.
Captain Samir Sabahwal, 56, boasts an impressive 15,600 flight hours, with 8,600 on the Boeing 787. First Officer Clive Kunda, 32, has about 3,400 hours, including 1,100 on the same aircraft. The cabin crew consisted of 12 members, including senior flight attendants and ground operations support staff. Each had undergone thorough security checks and held certifications in accordance with both DGCA and Air India protocols, ensuring they were fully qualified and prepared for duty. Right before the crash, both engines lost power and the fuel switches flipped to cut off. Definitely not good, right? Cockpit recordings revealed confusion as one pilot asked, "Why did you cut off?" They called Mayday and tried to restart, but only engine 1 showed promise. Investigators flagged an unresolved FAA warning from 2018 about the cutoff switch. Aviation authorities jumped in after the incident. India's DGCA and the US FAA checked fuel cutoff switches on Boeing 787 and 737 planes. Some airlines even grounded their jets for extra tests, but Boeing stands by their design.
Critical analysis. Number 1. Core trigger. Accidental fuel cutoff. At about 650 feet up and cruising at 180 knots, both engine fuel switches flipped from run to cutoff just a second apart. This sudden switch caused both engines to flame out right away. These switches are pretty secure and need a deliberate effort to mess with. The cockpit voice recorder caught a telling moment. One pilot, clearly shocked, asked, "Why did you cut off?" The other replied, "I didn't." This showed genuine confusion with no intent behind it. Just 7 seconds later, they switched back to run, realizing their mistake and scrambling to restart the engines. But by then, they were in a tough spot, making recovery really tricky. Critical questions. Can cockpit, ergonomics, or automation cause inadvertent simultaneous switch movement? Could there have been a mechanical fault or electrical short causing the switch position change? How reliable are the crew voice identifications in attributing the action? Were any warnings or switch position enunciations available to the pilots? Number 2. Ignored Federal Aviation Administration's Special Airworthiness Information Bulletin on Fuel Control Switches. In 2018, the Federal Aviation Administration put out a bulletin about potential problems with fuel control, switch locking mechanisms. They warned on the risk of accidental disengagement, which could impact several Boeing models, including the 787. The switchers involved were the same ones on the doomed aircraft. Air India didn't change anything since the bulletin wasn't mandatory. They thought it wasn't needed, but now that decision raises a lot of questions. Critical questions. Why didn't Air India check those switches, especially after past issues? Shouldn't regulators make safety checks mandatory for key controls? Did the throttle quadrant or switch module reveal any signs of mechanical wear, chafing, or corrosion when inspected after the crash?
Number 3. Flight crew performance and human factors. The flight was led by a 56-year-old captain with an impressive 15,638 flight hours, including 8,596 on the Boeing 787. His co-pilot, just 32, had 3,403 hours total, with 1,128 on the same plane. Both were well rested. When the emergency hit, they jumped into action, calling Mayday and quickly trying to relight the engines. They totally understood the seriousness of the situation and handled it like true pros. Critical questions. Could a miscommunication or misinterpreted checklist call-out have caused the switch movement? Is there any indication of cognitive overload, automation, surprise, or manual muscle memory error? Will voice biometric analysis be conducted to definitively assign actions? Number 4. Both engines on the aircraft were pretty new. The left one was installed on May 1, 2025, and the right one just weeks earlier on March 26. Maintenance records showed no issues with the fuel control switches since 2023, so all good there. The aircraft had a valid airworthiness review certificate and met all the necessary directives. A quick wreckage analysis confirmed that key flight controls were set right for takeoff, with the throttle in the right position for thrust and the flap handle at 5 degrees. Critical questions. Is there conclusive evidence that the physical switches were in run prior to impact, or could they have been knocked during crash dynamics? Can post-crash thermal deformation of components skew forensic switch readings? Could the replacement throttle control module in 2023 have introduced latent faults?
Number 5. Crash sequence and survivability. The powerless aircraft went down hard, clipping treetops and smashing into a chimney before slamming into Building A at BJ Medical College. The impact was devastating. The tail and right landing gear got stuck in the building, while the left engine broke off. Slamming into nearby Building D, the debris flew everywhere, and a massive fire erupted, leaving no chance for anyone inside. Out of 242 people on board, only one critically injured passenger survived. On the ground, 19 were killed, and 67 others were hurt, many seriously, as flames engulfed everything. Critical questions. Was a forced landing on airport perimeter possible if relight had succeeded earlier? Should training protocols for dual-engine failure at low altitude be updated? Did any internal security or flight deck breach occur, given the sudden critical switch movement? Number 6. Flight recorders and data integrity. The investigators were able to recover data from the forward-enhanced airborne flight recorder, which surprisingly survived the crash. It had 49 hours of flight info, including vital details from the accident. The cockpit voice recorder was also a goldmine, capturing 2 hours of cockpit audio that revealed key moments and the pilot's conversations before the crash. Sadly, the rear recorder was too damaged, but the forward one still gave us crucial insights into those final moments. Critical questions. Will CVR data undergo forensic voice identification to verify which pilot acted? Was any noise, warning, or audible switch click recorded during the cutoff event? Could external electromagnetic interference have impacted switch logic?
Unresolved questions and investigative gaps. While the investigation has uncovered critical details, several key questions remain. Number 1. Switch design. Both fuel control switches, meant to prevent accidental use, were toggled to cut off within 1 second. This raises doubts about whether the mechanism is truly fail-safe. Number 2. Human factors. CVR audio reveals one pilot asking, "Why did you cut off?" and the other replying, "I didn't," suggesting possible confusion or a lapse in cockpit coordination. Number 3. SAIB compliance. A 2018 FAA advisory warned of latch issues with this switch model, but Air India took no action since it wasn't mandatory. Should such advisories carry more weight? Number 4. Maintenance. Though TCMS were previously replaced, it's unclear if the fuel switch assemblies were fully inspected. Was something overlooked? Number 5. Crew factors. Both pilots were rested, but questions remain about cockpit dynamics. Could the first officer's inexperience or the captain's age have played a role? Number 6. Engine relight. Investigators are examining whether the FOD deck system responded properly during restart efforts.
Number 7. 19 people on the ground were killed, raising concerns about infrastructure near airports. Could better planning or barriers reduce such risks? These unresolved issues highlight the complexity of the accident and the need for continued investigation. The media and the internet are buzzing with questions. Will a final report reveal what really happened? Guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel.